welcome to 5% Chance. I am Devin, gonna be the keeper slash GM for tonight. My pronouns are he, him. If you are new to 5% Chance, welcome. We're glad you're here. We are coming up on the end of this little campaign. We're not quite there yet. We do have one more session after this, but we should have some fun combat planned for today. But for any of you who are returners to the channel, you may recognize me from our Wednesday night games where I play Ding, the grumpy old wizard, who may have some new spells ready for next week, which will be fun to drop on people. Before we get started, I do want to thank our producer, Erica, and our tech jockey, Courtney, for helping make this stream possible. Along with 5% Chance as a whole, they are all wonderful people. Tonight's stream, just like every stream, is sponsored by Sheckler Woodworking, where you could buy dice trays, dice boxes, non-dice wooden creations. They're all very cool. You can basically make anything you want with wood. You just got to reach out and talk to them. If you use the code 5% sign and chance at checkout, you will get 10% off your order, because 5% really doesn't even pay tax. So, but that is enough out of me. I'm going to pass it over to the real stars of our show tonight, our players, and let them introduce themselves. And we'll start with the character that's going to have the most trauma tonight, probably, Carmen, or Anne.
Wow, it's a good sign when it's just woof, your name out the window. You're just your character now. Hi, I'm Anne. My pronouns are she, her, and I'll be playing Detective Carmen Garcia, who is totally fine. Just a regular old gumshoe trying to investigate stuff and not traumatized at all. I'm gonna throw it over to Ian.
Hi, my name is Ian. My pronouns are he, they. I play Morgan Yen, the spooky of the Ookie Spooky Girls. They have solved their problem. They're no longer, haunted by their demons. It's going to be a fun time. Yeah. I hope you believe me. We're going to move it down the line to Nikki.
Hello there, I'm Nikki, and I am, he, they, and I am playing the Initiate, Cheng An, who is a Buddhist shaman who uses rituals and animal sacrifices to do her magic. And we'll see how she fares against monsters, because her rituals don't work against them. So, I mean, she can just cheer you on from the sidelines, that works too. And I'm gonna pass it over to DJ.
Hey y'all, my name is DJ. I use he, him pronouns. I am playing Hector Salas, who also uses he, him pronouns, who is the spell slinger. Hector is really looking forward to trying to make mermaid sashimi this episode, so we'll see if he can do that.
Excellent. Excellent. So before we get started tonight, I do want to give everyone a brief reminder that this game will include topics such as blood, body horror, demons and monsters, description of shamanistic rituals including animal sacrifice, aquatic monsters, I'm going to stress that one, aquatic monsters, general horror themes, and a dark atmosphere. We've established safety tools here between the players and myself, so that if anybody is ever uncomfortable or not having fun, we have ways to work around that, because ultimately, everyone should be having fun. If you're not, then I'm doing something wrong. That being said, if any of you in the audience have trouble with anything that's going on here tonight, don't feel bad. Feel free to step away. The VOD for this stream will be up on Twitch right after we're done, and the edited version will be up on YouTube next Monday. So you will have plenty of options to watch that through in a setting where you can kind of skip around and avoid anything that you don't want to listen to. So, with that being said, last week you all did a little investigating around Pike Place Market and learned that you are dealing with a Majandara in the water, which is basically the angriest, crankiest, most cannibalistic mermaid you could think of. The Magandara had collapsed a dock, and Hector reconstructed that scene using his magic and saw this Majandara enchant, enthrall, beguile 6 dock workers, kind of lure them to the end of the pier and then collapse it, and quite effectively drag 4 of them underwater, presumably never to be seen again. We also learned from our capital B, capital N, big tall nerd, James, in the magic shop, that there is also a Bawa haunting the streets, mostly up by Pike Place Market, it seems like, who also now
Is
has
it the
Anne's number and maybe will be reaching out
Carmen?
for coffee.
Yeah,
Or
Carmen.
sorry, Carmen. Yeah, Carmen's number. Who will maybe be reaching out for coffee sometime. We'll
Uh,
see.
is it the bird version or the horse version? James
Or is
said
it both?
both.
Yeah, James seems somewhat convinced that maybe the couple versions of this myth are working together or combined in some way and are both currently a problem. But we'll have to find that out. But after doing all this investigation and checking on things, On went and made a whole lot of Molotov cocktails, it sounded like, with Eugene. And Morgan bought some earplugs, got some potentially never ending rope in a can, or like handkerchief rope. You know, it was a magic shop. He bought a trick rope kind of thing. And when he tried it out, or when they tried it out, it seemed rather effective.
Good
But
purchase.
yeah, no, excellent purchase. But we ended the last session with Carmen making a call to the police chief to kind of get the waterfront cleared, get them access to the dock so that they could go maybe deal with this fishy friend that they have found.
Friend.
Friend,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. Carmen did recall that there are some versions of the story that are very nice,
Yeah. I'm excited.
and that maybe there's a chance.
50-50.
50-50,
She
honestly.
tried. She's trying to be hopeful. She's trying to put on a brave face.
Carmen's gonna manifest that positivity in the world around her.
You you know how like there are times where you say something but you don't believe it? That was it for that was it for Carmen. She's like, I have to say this, even if I don't believe it. Maybe I can convince everyone else.
Maybe, just maybe. Uh, so, you all have been waiting around. It probably took like an hour or two for the police to get down there and kind of clear the streets out a little bit. They're not totally cleared. Like, there's definitely still people over by the Great Wheel, but they've kind of cleared the space on the dock that you need to go down, as well as over towards the aquarium, since that was, it was getting later in the day. It's a Thursday. They didn't expect a big crowd anyway, so they're like, we'll just close a little early. Whatever. Kick the last few kids out of here and we'll all go home. So you've got a little bit of space to work with and a little bit of privacy. So, what would you all like to do?
Hector does have a +1 still to hunt, locate, avoid, or protect against this thing. So whenever we're ready, I can try to lure it or locate it to see where it is and if it's nearby, start the process of killing it.
Yeah. Okay. How does anybody else have anything they want to do before Hector tries to locate this thing?
Morgan will just hand
Go
out
ahead.
earplugs if they haven't handed out the earplugs. Just in case, I don't know what kind of magic it'll be. You mentioned sirens, so I figured if they got closer, this might help. But and then I have this, and then all the rope in the air, just in case we get pulled in water. Maybe we could tie this to something on land, and we could tie it around ourselves and make a cool little chain of buddy systems, so we don't get dragged into darkness.
So instead, if one of us gets dragged in, the rest of us gets dragged in with that person and we drown together.
Or we win the tug of war and pull them back. Yeah? Or not. I mean, you don't have to use this if you don't want to. I just figured it'd be a nice tool. So yeah,
Good.
what is
It's a
the
good thought.
thanks?
Um, Devin,
Mhm.
I have a thought.
Yeah.
So, what's his name? Jack? Is that what his name was? Sorry, my brain.
Which
Uh,
one?
the magic shop guy. Sorry,
Ah, yes, big tall nerd. That is James.
James. Sorry, wrong J names.
There was a
Okay.
few of them last
Uh,
session.
James. Okay. So when James was describing where the Bawa might have been,
Mhm.
is it possible that there are like cameras, like security that could be tapped into?
In that area?
Yeah, like where, or is it? Because Carmen's thought was if there's a bit of a lull, a wait time,
Mhm.
she's going to at least make arrangements with the hackers that she knows. Just like, yo, Rocky, you get in the system and keep an eye on this. This is what you need to look out for, and like, let me know if shit goes down.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
So
send that as a text.
yeah, so with where James was talking about, it sounded like it was kind of along Post Alley and then in the market itself, which there's a lot of businesses around there. So for sure, there's probably at least some cameras in the area that you could try to access. So if you want to send that text, go ahead and roll plus sharp for me, and we'll see how good Rocky does, how well Rocky is able to accomplish this.
Oh no. I rolled a 5.
Okay, first XP of the night.
You know,
Doing great.
sometimes it be like that. Sometimes
Yeah,
it be like that. Not a traumatizing time.
So yeah,
It's mostly just Carmen trying to make herself feel better by having someone keep an eye on that.
yeah, absolutely. So you shoot off this text to Rocky. Are you messaging Rocky specifically, or like the whole kind of cohort of them?
The network.
Okay.
I imagine they're like the hacker clique.
Okay. Yeah, the hacker click. So you send out this message, and it takes a little bit to get a response, longer than normal, before Rocky does finally shoot you back a message that just says, "I'm in." He actually just sends back that GIF that just says, "I'm in," with like the that you all know which one I'm talking about.
The Matrix.
Yes, yeah, the Matrix.
Oh my god, what the?
Full on. So he sends this back to you.
Rocky and Carmen communicate in gifs and
Okay.
memes. That's their shorthand.
Okay. Now you also know that Rocky, while Rocky knows a lot about Seattle, Rocky is not a Seattle native, so Rocky's
Yeah.
into a camera network. You're not sure which, but Rocky
Yeah.
thinks that he's in the right camera network.
No, I get it. They're trying, but
Yeah.
also, yeah. I guess that didn't. Guess that means I don't really get a naked city. I don't get a naked city bonus for the Bawa. In case I follow up with that later.
Yeah, no, I'll still give that to you. This was just more of the favor for Rocky to be able to
Yeah.
successfully pull off the favor for you. I'll still give you the +1. That's fine.
Okay. I wasn't sure how that was going to work out, but
I'm sure there's official rules on it, but I'm just gonna say it's fine.
okay. No, no, it's fine. So Carmen has done this mostly to make herself feel better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like I said, for all you know, Rocky may be in the correct camera system. You're just not sure.
Like
Absolutely.
it's the process of just having someone try but just like
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, he's in a camera system. It might not be the one that you necessarily meant, but it might still catch something for you. So
oh no.
So you send that out, and Morgan, you hand out all the earplugs, and
I'm
thankfully,
tying the rope to the thickest, sturdiest like pillar or column in this place. The handkerchief rope essentially.
yes, absolutely. Yeah, which, given your role at the end of the last session, it just, you keep thinking you're gonna run out eventually. It just keeps coming.
This is, I didn't realize how good this is. It's like it was only like $5, but look at that. It's like over 10 feet long. Oh my god, it keeps going. Like you need that James really has really good like stuff in his shop. You need to go back. Um, ties it around whatever like center pillar I could find. I don't know, whatever you are willing to let me to tie it
Yeah,
down
no,
to.
there's some pretty big, like, they almost look like railroad ties on the end of the dock, like just these big wooden posts, kind of along the edge of the water to keep, dumb children from falling in the water, hopefully.
Fingers
So,
crossed.
yeah, so you're able to tie yourself off around one of those, along with anybody who would like to have this tied around them.
An will take this opportunity to go up to Carmen at some point and go, Carmen, you know about these siren things. Tell me about them. What is the best way to kill them?
What is the best way to kill them?
Yeah,
Do I
absolutely.
remember from the stories? I feel like I should. I'm a terrible Filipino.
Yeah, so
No.
so roll plus
No,
sharp,
no, no.
and go ahead and give yourself a +1 on this too.
Okay, I rolled an 8 this time.
Okay, good.
Wait, hold on. Did you say plus sharp?
Yes,
I
plus sharp.
lied. 10. I know. I don't know how to math. I forgot to add my sharp.
Even better. Okay, so with a 10, absolutely. So you know that from the stories, the one thing that is super consistent is the Magandara are, like, purity is almost like a poison to them, which is why they usually avoid children. So, as Dirk said in his text last time, if anybody is still holding on to their inner childhood and like a sense of purity in their heart, maybe they'll be able to repel the Magandara. Outside of that, it is a physical creature. So most things that would kill a physical thing will work just as effectively on this. They're a little bit sturdy, but not overwhelmingly so. So, like, shotgun, pretty good bet. Molotov cocktails, also pretty good bet.
Carmen said, I assume Eugene is holding a bunch of like supplies and stuff, Molotov cocktails, and just says, you've got the right idea. They are a physical creature. So, I mean, what would harm us would probably harm it. Also, if you can maybe produce, like, I don't know, a virgin or something innocent, that might help too.
You don't see her reaction over eyes. She's like behind the sunglasses.
But mostly just guns, knives, whatever, if it hurts you, it'll probably hurt it.
So it's repelled
Um,
by virginity.
By purity, specifically purity. So, like,
but
innocence
specifically
and
by
that kind of childlike
specifically,
wonder.
yeah, specifically purity. But when I think of purity, I think of virgins.
You gotta
No,
work on
like,
that prejudice of yours.
it's not a like, it's less of a prejudice, more of a bias. Okay,
Well,
let's not get it twisted.
yeah. Well, and then Anne turns around. Well, Eugene, you'll be safe then. Pats on his shoulder twice and walks off.
Eugene,
No.
who had been like seeming a little more confident and like excited about things, very much just like shrinks in a little bit.
There's
The
nothing
ultimate
more innocent than Eugene in this story.
the ultimate irony is that Anne is also a virgin.
We don't know that.
Yep, no one knows that.
Fantastic.
Here. Oh
Okay.
man.
So then, Hector, yes, you you will have your +1 to sort of investigate this. Are you going to try to like use your magic to locate this thing, or are you just okay? Totally. So roll plus weird, and you will get the +1, which last time. So that was from the use magic roll because you got the 12 plus, which keeper will offer some additional benefit. I forgot that that is technically an advanced move with it. So it's a thing you take when you have those advanced things. You can mark 2 of those moves as advanced, so you get that advanced option. However, as you do this, that scarf that you bought from 8th generation, that Hector, talks about, like the intent of the person that was making it really lends to that creation and kind of gives it a magic. So as you are using your magic to kind of like feel out where this thing is, that scarf around you kind of feels a little extra warm and snuggly, like it's lending its power to you.
Well, my 13 makes sense then.
Yes. Fantastic. Excellent. So.
Oh, wait. Yep, 13. No, I can do math. Math is hard, people.
Math is hard.
Yeah, I think you have like what, a +4 including that +1. So
Yeah.
So that makes sense. So wonderful. So you actually describe to me, how does your magic help you find the creature?
So the focus that I'm wearing right now has a jagged point to it, so he'll kind of crouch down on the dock where the wood is and kind of scratch out a very rough kind of like here's where we are, like almost like a map of the area, and then we'll take it off and use it as like almost like a dowsing stone. So focusing on what I know with the Nakandara and my wind, which is my primary like magic usage, but also combining with the ice and the water, because that is my secondary. So it's spinning around trying to locate it, like basically creating a surf kind of wind.
Yeah, so the crystal kind of swings around this rough sketch you've made, slowly starts circling in, and it just kind of starts swaying back and forth right around between the dock you saw the collapse on and the aquarium kind of off to your right side. And with a 13, as you look out kind of at the water and at this, water, there's not much else there. As you look out at the water, you do see some of the water start swirling and like little bits of ice kind of pop up, and it's like your magic is you basically have planted a beacon on this thing underwater, and your magic is now just hovering along the top of the water, very obviously pinning it out for you in the bay. And it's like right in between the dock running alongside the aquarium and the dock where the collapse happened.
Alrighty. I'll because we all have earplugs in, kind of wave and like point, and hopefully people will see the ice moving, and I'll just kind of like give a
I'm ready. Yes.
I'll look at On and Eugene.
She reluctantly puts a thumbs up.
What? Okay.
Everyone else is being silent. You're yelling. Perfect. As the beacon is moving, I'm trying to wait to see if I can get a point where I can cut off some of its ability to flee into the deep water.
Okay.
Yeah.
So right now it's between sort of two of the docks, two of the piers heading out along the water. So you could potentially use your magic to like try to ice that up and then block off the front and basically keep it in the worst pool you could imagine. Like just
I'm making an aquarium tank.
Yeah. An angry aquarium tank.
Oh no.
Would this be... Would I still get the +1 against the Macandara for this?
Sure.
Great. So I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
I'm going to just like, all right, let's make this happen, and as thick as I can get it, probably about this much is as with how much ice I'm trying to move. So that I can't just like burst through it in one hit is my hope.
Yeah.
I'm creating an aquarium. Do not like it, but also because I'm a practitioner, I get another +1 because I'm trying to trap a specific monster.
Fair enough.
So that is, I'm using weird, I would assume.
Yeah, plus weird.
How's 15?
Oh, fine.
Yeah, no, so you...
This is what this character does. Only this.
Yes. So you reach down deep into the magical wells within you and just... What, like, how do you do this? What sort of motions are you doing?
I am kind of like almost at a squat to begin with, and like really like broadening my shoulders and making my like breath really almost looks like I'm about to do like a deadlift or like a strongman competition, kind of like
Okay.
up and down.
Yeah.
But instead of that, it's both hands kind of here. You'll notice that the focus like starts to float up and will suddenly clasp and then push down and then back up, kind of like that. And when his hands go up, the first two ice pillar wall things burst from the water, and then very quickly we'll take one and do it again farther, like closer, to make the third one pop out as well. So theoretically, they are pinned between the sand, the two pillars, and the way out to
So
the deep water.
there's not a fun lesson about Seattle waterfront. There's like not even sand there. It's right up to the waterfront with a boardwalk. There's like a cement wall there because
Terrifying.
Even better.
yeah, that's how the Seattle waterfront works. Like there's no sand there. The sand is all under the city. Thus why it kept sinking. So yeah, so you pull up these walls and with a 15 you were trying to get like a nice thick wall. It is like it's coming out the other side of the boardwalk. Like you have frozen a solid like 15-foot chunk under these things. This thing is going nowhere. That being said, you were definitely a little bit winded after that. Like that's a big use of magic, so you'll need maybe a minute to kind of recoup after that. But it is trapped.
Hector will be like, I'd be like when everyone else like very tired, but be like, I did not just go.
Okay, like wiping like the water, the rainfall that happened from the protrusion of ice that came from the bay, just like wiping all this water off. Starts to run forward, takes out the 9mm, and unsure what to do. Unsure if they can trust their powers. Morgan kind of just like walks forward a little bit, looking towards An and Carmen, and like just like gesturing and pointing towards. Can I see this beacon, like this kind of homing beacon of ice? Is it like a glowing thing, or is it just particularly for
Oh no, you can all see it. It's like if you've ever had like ice in a cup and you kind of swirl it around, it is just that. There is a circle of just swirling ice on the water that's moving around. And as you guys all run, or as you all run forward, and kind of get a better view into the water here, you can see this sort of beacon almost like ping-ponging around down there, like it's after this huge disruption of water from these giant ice blocks, like shooting back and forth, making loops, trying to find a way out. And as you all kind of get up to the docks and up to the piers, you just hear this kind of garbled shriek from under the water. And as you all walk up, it bursts out and just glares at you all. And it is The part that's sticking out of the water just looks like a pretty lady, like
Oh,
long hair, kind of sleek down, stuck to the body. But as it, as you follow that line of sight down, the bottom half of this is just a big fish. Big fish with rainbow scales on it.
quick question.
Mm-hmm.
The 9mm says close. It's to harm, close, and it's loud. So
Yes.
how close is close? Like, I don't know the distance.
Yeah. So for our audience, fun little Monster of the Week lesson. Your weapons all have a range on them. It's either intimate, hand, close, or far. Intimate basically means they have to be holding you to do it. Hand is anything within your arm's reach, or maybe just beyond, like if you're holding a bat or something, that's technically hand. Close is anything a little beyond hand that's not real far away. So most guns are close unless it's like a rifle, so close is there's a pretty big range for close. So you could definitely.
I think Morgan's gonna just instinctually, in kind of a panic, fire. Now that
Okay.
this creature comes out of the water, um, and like is screeching, even though we have all our earbuds in. And so yeah, I think that's a
That'll be a kick some ass roll.
yeah.
So that'll be roll plus stuff.
Yeah, and guess what I'm not good at? -1. Here we go. Perfect. Love to see it. 4 minus 1 is 3. Morgan, in a sheer panic, kind of just goes "Ah!" and starts shaking and just starts shooting, and it's just wavering into the like bay area.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's these shots are just hitting water, bouncing off ice on the far end, and spiking down into the water. It is all around this thing, and it kind of locks eyes on Morgan as you start firing and sort of starts swimming towards where you are
Oh yeah.
rather rapidly.
Oh yeah. Failing kick some ass means they attack
Do
you. I think.
Yeah. Do
if
I get
recall.
hurt?
So it has. So it, as it's swimming towards you, starts. It's kind of hard to hear through the earplugs, but it does seem like it kind of starts vocalizing, like it's singing a little bit at you as it swims towards you. Because you have the earplugs in, go ahead and roll plus weird plus 1
Oh.
to resist this thing.
Okay. Plus weird plus 1. That's a 9.
Great. So you do feel that sort of like it pulls at you, like it's trying to enchant you, and specifically for Morgan, it almost feels a little bit like when you black out. Like it
Oh.
feels a little bit like that loss of control of yourself. And given your recent freedom, you are rather opposed to that and bristle at it, and you feel that sort of power from that Kira covered you in sort of flare to life a little bit and just brush this off of you.
Perfect. Yeah, in that moment where they feel that kind of like tug, but the fire of Kira kind of comes over. The scream goes from panic into like anger, and it goes from like ah! And it's just like firing into the water, missing entirely. Not sure what else I can do on my turn, or if that's it. Or...
So Monster of the Week doesn't necessarily do turns the way D&D does. It's much more narrative, so just whoever would like to sort of respond from there.
I have a question for Ian.
Yes.
Would Carmen have sensed that Morgan was freaking out and like in trouble? Maybe.
I think maybe yes, because we had that heart to heart last session, and Morgan kind
Yeah.
of confessed about lying that they were okay, um, to kind of like
Uh,
soothe Carmen. So I think coming from that, you would know that like Morgan is doing the best that they can. They typically rely on their powers, but you're noticing that their first instinct, instead of using magic, is to use something mundane. And so I think it'd be like an obvious clue of like, oh, we're avoiding a thing that makes them strong, and we're doing a thing that we're not good at, and we're panicking.
okay. I think picking up on I think picking up on Morgan's panic, Carmen doesn't even have time to, because so in my mind, Hector has said, okay, we're gonna go find this thing, and you would think that Carmen would be a little more prepared. However, she's kind of in her own head right now, and she was preoccupied trying to sort some other stuff out, and kind of like as soon as she picks up on her friend not doing great, like before she can even grab her shotgun from the holster, something entirely different happens. Something snaps in her brain. She sees this creature come out of the water, and she just, whatever reason, she just doesn't think about it. There is a of just pure white energy that comes out of her hands. Just she throws her hands out in a moment of just automatic like response that she doesn't even realize she's doing. But I am also gonna try something new.
Yeah. So are you gonna need to burn everything?
Yeah, she is that is not great. Hold on,
So
that is
add
a
weird.
yeah, that is a 6. That's not great.
So as you kind of throw your hands out and this just lance of white fire, pure white fire, flies out of you towards the water, um, and it honestly catches you off guard a little bit. Like you weren't expecting it, and it kind of rocks you back where it pulls that line of fire up and would miss. But that scarf that Hector gave you, you feel it sort of warm around you, and it's take some liberties here and say it's a red scarf, and it
I
sort
love
of
that.
it you feel it come up around your arms almost a little bit like you got caught and pull them back down, and it also looks like it is in flames but not burning, like it has just become part of your magic and is sort of lowering it back down, and you hit this very angry Ariel full force.
It's funny because it looks like she's just gesturing to say stop, but then the magic comes out of it, right? Like her hands just come out when she's trying to just signal to stop, and that's what it looks like to everyone. So then I guess, does it succeed? What happens? The move says either 3 harm area magic obvious or 3 harm ignore armor magic obvious.
So this thing
So
doesn't
I
have
think
armor,
it would.
so it
Oh,
will go with that area effect, and so you just bathe this thing in a pillar of fire. Like it's a good like 5-foot radius pole of flame that just hits the bay, and steam kind of starts coming up from where it's been hit. And I'm gonna say that this thing is probably caught a little off guard by this,
I think she
and
just looks
doesn't
over.
really know how to respond to that. Is just kind of being dunked with fire.
I think she just smiles at An and Eugene and just says, "Burn it with fire." And Luya just gestures at the Molotov cocktails that they're packing somewhere.
Well, I'm not doing it. Now I'm not doing it. An puts it away.
Eugene like rolls his eyes and lights one and kind of hucks it. Totally misses because he's trying to be discreet, but he hucks one out there and it kind of sails. Like it looks like it's gonna go, and then it just drops real short into the water, and you threw a Molotov in the water, so like there's nothing. It just goes out.
I was mostly joking with that. Anne sees that, and then she'll try to get. She's not going to like go into full action mode because that's just not her thing. She's just gonna walk along the edge, finds a good angle, lights it, and then just throws it in as well.
Throws it in. All right, so go ahead and roll plus tough.
Oh boy. Okay,
Also
you know
a
what?
thing.
Since this is the second last session, I'm gonna use a luck point to succeed on this roll.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely, yes.
Luck
Yeah,
I just
points.
realized
Yeah,
I have it
I
in
guess I
the
should have
video.
reminded
them.
you all about that. You do have luck points you can use.
I forget. It's fine. It's fine.
So when you spend a luck point, it will just change a roll to a 12, so it is now a success. And for the initiate, for on, when you spend a luck point, something goes wrong for your sect. Ill-advised project or a disastrous operation, and we do already have a hanging consequence for your sect from an earlier attempt to rely on them. So we'll
Yes.
see what all happens with that later.
Fine.
You might receive a call, but so you lob this Molotov down pretty cleanly, like right at this thing.
And
Hit
I'll
it right on the dome.
use the one extra effect to take less harm.
Okay, great. So you're going to mitigate the harm from this. So you
Yes.
throw this Molotov down, which, for the audience and also for our players, with kick some ass when it's done, even on a success, technically you both deal damage to each other, both you and the creature. Stipulation being that the creature needs to have something it can do to you. With the Jiangxi and the Penanggalan, you killed them before they got close enough to do anything. Like they were dealt with effectively. Okay. So you throw a Molotov. That'll do a harm to it, and this thing. So you had to walk right. You looked for that good angle on it, so you kind of walked down the pier a little bit more. So you're like right above this thing, and it whips its head up and looks at you and kind of snarls. And from this close, you see that those teeth are razor sharp. It is just like a row of knives, like a bunch of shark's teeth, and it launches out of the water at you, kind of grabs onto you and bites into your shoulder, which, since you are reducing harm by 1, you will take 1 harm from that. But also, the Magandara is out of the water now. It's currently locked onto Anne on the dock.
She just lets out a grunt and go, "Do you know how expensive this shirt is?" More
There's a
annoyed than
fairer way.
anything.
At this point,
It's not just one shirt; it's the jacket and the shirt underneath it.
Yeah.
Her heart is like, "Oh, my money."
Hector and Carmen, both of you, go ahead and roll plus sharp for me. Let's see.
9. 9.
Great.
6.
Okay.
Cute.
That's 1 more XP
I'm,
there.
I'm still tired.
So Hector, you're
It's fine.
tired. You're like finally shaking it off, but you're like doing the head down, like, ooh, okay, like you're in that moment of like, all right, back to it. But Carmen, you feel your phone buzzing in your pocket.
Oh no.
And we'll say Carmen seems like she's successful enough and maybe the kind of person that she might have a smartwatch that gives her text previews, so she doesn't have to pull the phone out. And you see a text from Rocky that just said, "Something coming your way." And it's a screenshot of a camera feed Definitely not on like the market, up by the market or the post alley where you told Rocky to log into. It looks like this is on the waterfront somewhere, like along the boardwalk, and there is a blurred shape, like a dark blurred shape. Kind of looks like someone riding a horse, but they're too far forward on the horse, rocketing down.
Get it? Oh no!
It's fine. It's fine. It's a horse. It's a horse friend. It's a horse
And-
friend.
It's it's security camera footage. It's not real clean, but it does look like there's something sort of bright on the back of this too.
Okay.
Which, from what you're able to more or less recognize it, and it is, this camera was taken from like just beyond the aquarium. Like if you turn and look, you'll probably, if there is something there, you'll be able to see it.
Okay. Carmen looks around. She knows where the Majandara is. Hector found it. Two things that are going through her mind. If there was something coming this way, are there innocent people being disturbed or like, getting harassed by this thing, or like as it's running past, are people
Yeah.
freaking out? Like, can I tell if it's near?
So with the earplugs in, you can't hear much. So you wouldn't be able to tell if people are screaming or not. You know that direction is the side that got more cleared out by the police when they kind of made a, sectioned off an area for you all to work in. So if it's that close, it's probably within that like area now. It's beyond where any crowds would be. It's also getting later at night, so like people are dispersing and there's not much down that way. Stuff is more down the opposite direction towards the Great Wheel and like the old Curiosity Shop and the ferries and all that kind of stuff.
There is a look that Carmen gives Hector, like as they lock eyes. Like it's that like you got this look, like, and she's pointing in the direction of where she is heading. There's that silent communication between them. Yeah. And she just kind of tries to relay like, stay here and deal with this, but just with their look. And then she's going to go in the direction of where this might be,
Where this thing
to
is
cut
coming
it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as you turn and start running that direction, you can see maybe 2 or 3 piers past where the aquarium is, which, it's maybe like 80 yards away, give or take. About a football field, American football field, away roughly. A best description would be a centaur with just this long black hair covering the face and dark skin. And as it's running, every now and then over its shoulder, you do see something bright and almost metallic kind of pop up.
Does it have a friend? Is it a friend, or what is that?
Go to
I'm
roll plus sharp and take a +1 for this.
Do I, because it is the first time I observe this monster, can I apply occult confidential?
Absolutely, you can.
Is that the +1 that you're giving me, or is it an extra +1 on top?
Go ahead and take an extra
Or no,
+1.
wait.
This is...
no, I lied.
this one is just
I
you may
lied.
ask one question. So,
I
if you would like,
can
you can
ask a question. Can I
Yeah.
just ask the question?
Yes, absolutely. I
and
forgot you
keep-
had that power. So,
I forgot I had that power too.
yeah.
Please.
You could either ask a question there, or if you would just like to know what its friend might be, I can clarify that for
Is
you.
it? I don't know if it's a friend or whatever, but I would like to know what that is.
Okay, great. So you think back to James talking about how multiple versions of the Bawa may be manifesting at once. And so the one form of the Bawa that you are very clearly seeing charged towards you is this demon that craves freshwater shrimp. Looks like a centaur. Doesn't
The horse guy.
Yeah, the horse version. It won't cross running water, so you know that that's a way to escape it. The other version is a bird that wants to eat the moon, and you know that some descriptions of this bird mention it having a beak and talons of steel and feathers like swords and mirrory eyes like mirrors.
This is messed up, dude. They're both there.
They're both there.
Okay, now, Carmen is absolutely extra freaking out, and honestly, she was like, the first time she did it unintentionally, but now she's like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna try to do it on purpose this time. And she closes her eyes and thinks really hard and tries to focus whatever occult magic thing is happening there. And she tries to attack them both.
Yeah, so go ahead and roll plus weird for me. And go ahead and take a +1 again from the scarf.
I know how to math. 11. It's a use magic, correct?
Yes.
It's a
this
use
will
magic
count as
roll.
use
Okay,
magic. So you kind of gather yourself, and again, that scarf, it might just be catching on your arms, you're not entirely sure, but it might also be intentionally sort of wrapping itself along your arms, and again, as you throw your hands forward, it feels like it bursts up into flames as well, and this just lance of white hot fire shoots out and hits this charging centaur right in the chest.
Okay.
Doing
So the move does
3
yeah,
harm.
so I would like to do the area.
Yeah. So it hits and just sort of like explodes over this thing, bathing it in fire. And as the spell kind of dies down, as this magic fades out and your vision sort of starts clearing, you see the form of the centaur kind of at the back, sort of like staggering, holding the railing of the piers, the walkways to stabilize it. But as that fire starts dying down, you see this bird burst out of it, flying towards you, and it catches you sort of along the arm with one of its wings before circling back and landing on the back of the centaur again. So you will take 1 harm from that.
No, I will not.
Ah, that's right. No, you won't, because you are a gumshoe. And was it just immune to all harm move effects under 0 harm and 1 harm?
What is it? Asphalt jungle. I invoke my.
That is correct. Yes. So any 0 harm or 1 harm move just does nothing against you. So fantastic. So yeah, it does. It flies along and cuts you, and you know you've always healed fast, and you never really thought about it. But watching that kind of cut through your trench coat and into your arm, and you watch, like, there's a little line of blood there, but as you wipe at it, there's no cut. Like, it just instantly healed.
Huh.
Wait, I thought that only affects the harm moves, not the harm itself, or am I confusing it?
No,
Let's see.
the move.
You're immune to all harm move effects under 0 harm and 1 harm.
So is it considered a move effect?
Because when
Like,
you are
if
inflicted with a harm, something else happens to you.
Mm.
How
Yes,
would that?
because there are some move effects that are like forceful or restraining or whatever. I don't actually
I mean,
know.
I'll.
And for the sake of rule of cool for right now, and because On's being empowered by her scarf, we'll go ahead and say it doesn't do harm at the moment. But I will look into
Fine.
that for sure before our final session, because you never know. That might be important to know at that point.
Yeah, I guess it's harm effects is what it was. Harm move
Yeah.
effects.
So
So
I will
I
check
don't
that
know what
before
that
our
means.
final session. But for now, specifically because that scarf is sort of empowering you and helping you, we'll
Yeah.
we'll say that it nullifies
Okay.
it. It's supercharged your ability to heal yourself quickly, and so
Oh, huh, that's weird. I never actually noticed that. She just looks at her shoulder, and just kind of holds her ground there.
and Hector, at this point, you are as Carmen takes off, you are kind of like, okay, caught my wind. You're kind of able, really for you caught your wind, and are back into it. So if you would like to do something, you can.
Is the Macandara still like actively like teeth in on, or is it like on her but teeth like?
Yeah, so it bit in and kind of pulled onto the ground, and it looks like it's pulled back now, and Eugene's kind of got its hair and it's like trying to pull on it, but it's currently just on top of On.
I'm gonna use magic again.
Okay.
Shocker. Yeah, I'm trying to create more ice, but around On. So effectively,
Oh.
like this, like On is here.
So like create a protective wall for On, essentially.
I'm more focused on trying to skewer the Magandara.
Okay, just like push it off,
Or
okay, like actually skewer it with it. Gotcha.
I'm making spikes of ice to shoot up
Okay.
and bisect it. Hopefully.
Gotcha. Wonderful. So go ahead and roll plus weird, and so that'll be your frost effect, and I guess wall. Like that
Sure.
feels more like a wall than a ball.
Yeah. I would agree. So it's -1 harm then. I got 10 again, FYI.
Okay. So with a 10, you would normally be able to take some kind of a plus to it anyway. So we'll give it that +1 harm back. So
Cool.
it does skewer into the Magandara and kind of push it back off of On a little bit. It doesn't flip it back into the water, but it is pushed off of On. You could crawl out from under this new ice tent, very spiky ice tent that Hector has created.
Cool.
All right.
I
Yep.
think-
Anne will. Oh.
No, you go.
Yeah, Anne will just sort of like crawl out, get back to her feet, and sort of like dust herself off to try to look dignified again, and then just pretend that didn't happen.
That you're not bleeding from your shoulder.
Yep. I ain't got time to bleed.
And Morgan, as On's kind of brushing herself off and this thing falls back, you see those red threads kind of start appearing wrapped around this Magandara as it falls, urging you to pull on them.
I think there is a slight hesitation, but seeing the chaos that has kind of like erupted so quickly from the pillars of ice onto an exploding mermaid from the water charging from Carmen has fire powers to what's the centaur doing here? Why is it? Oh no, more fire? Wait, she's not hurt, but she's there. What? There's a lot. And ice skewers. I think it's all happening so quickly, and I think Morgan falls back into an old habit of pulling threads that they're used to pulling,
Okay.
and understanding that seeing this kind of like red threads around the Magandara, knowing that something could happen to it if I willed it to, even if it's connected to me and something beyond me in the shadow.
Mhm.
I need whatever this danger to end now, and is willing to make that kind of like sacrifice slash deal with the devil to like pull that. So they reach out and with a little bit of a flick on the wrist and a little pluck in the air, they pull the thread that they
Fantastic.
see again.
So go ahead and roll plus weird for me.
Okay. Yeah. That is an 11.
Fantastic. So you reach out and you pull on those strings and feel them vibrate. And as they vibrate, you see that bluish purple flame that you saw on your talisman race down these threads from you. Like it races down the threads and wraps around them. They're still reverberating, but that fire is like containing the power and keeping it from lashing back against you. Um, and as they vibrate, the Magadara turns its head to look at you and kind of snarls. Um, and you probably feel more than hear because you've got
Yeah.
earplugs in. But one of the street lights groans and falls over and just falls right onto the Magandara. As it was kind of pulling itself to lunge at you, this street light just slams down into it, slamming it against the dock.
No one
It
hears
is
this, but Morgan just says, "Lights out." To
it
themselves.
does seem that it's still like thrashing around a little down there, but boy, does it look rough. It is not having a good time.
Perfect.
A very meme thing to do, but I feel like this is something An will do because she is an inherently curious person.
Mhm.
She's heard that these things has the ability to charm people, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's kind of curious what that entails. So
No.
she's gonna remove her earplugs.
Don't do it.
Okay.
Oh no.
Okay. Fantastic.
And also, she got the information from Carmen about these things being repelled by purity. So she wants to test something.
Okay.
Not in a live experiment.
So as you remove the earplugs, and Eugene, watching you do this, is giving you a look that just screams, "What the fuck?" You remove these earplugs, and from under this collapsed street light, the Bagadara kind of twists and looks at you and sees this and starts singing. Just very beautiful song, very nice voice, like best singer you've ever heard. I will not imitate because I am not. Go ahead.
K-pop.
Go ahead and give me just a straight roll.
Will this count towards my contrarian?
Sure. You know what? Sure. I'll absolutely count this as contrarian because someone did give you honest advice that, hey, this thing might enchant you. Maybe don't listen to it. So you will get a +1 ongoing on
Let's go.
dealing with your choices. So go for it.
All right, I rolled an 8.
Fantastic. So yeah, so you do feel that pull at you. And it almost pulls you under, right? Like you kind of start feeling yourself drift and like you want to just walk over to this thing and like try to lift the street light and just stand there as it does whatever it's going to do. But as it sinks in, it feels like it doesn't take. Like it starts to affect you and then just washes off. Like it just can't really find a hold on you.
As that happens, An will just go, huh. Carmen, your information's wrong.
Pretty sure Carmen
And-
still has earplugs in.
I don't think Carmen can hear.
As we heard Carmen, your information's wrong. We'll cut back over real quick to Carmen, staring down this centaur with a metal bird on its back.
Wait. Great. And then I started blasting. Wait. Nope. I'm gonna keep blasting. Let's go. Is the +1 from the scarf ongoing or just the one roll?
Yeah, we'll give it ongoing.
Okay.
So you still have that +1.
That is an 8, and again, I'm just gonna cover the entire area of that they are taking up in the fire, and she's just like, shotguns are forgotten. This is magic that is fueled by fear.
Fantastic. So
She's like-
you again reach out and just throw this fire forward, and again, like the Bawa, the centaur part of the Bawa, seems like it's just kind of starting to regain itself and is like hunkering down to charge forward at you, and you hit it with this burst of fire, and again it just explodes and washes over this thing and the bird behind it. And this time,
if I'm backtracking as I'm blasting, would I be theoretically going backwards in the direction of my friends?
yes, yeah. If you are backing away while throwing this fire, you would be moving towards the rest of your group. Okay.
Okay, so theoretically, I have. Well, I mean, it is. Yeah, it doesn't actually give me. Oh, it's when you use magic. Okay, okay. So the harm effect. Hold on. Did I? 8. Okay, on a 7 to 9. Oh, okay. It's a use magic roll, right?
Yeah. So it's plus your weird,
So
and then you get the additional
yeah,
+1.
okay, so the burn everything move just modifies the damage that it does. The effects
Basically,
don't
yeah.
do, right?
Yeah, it is.
So
it is
does that
functioning
mean
as a
that-
use magic move.
Okay, so in that case, does that mean that I, on my 7 to 9 of, my 7 to 9 effect has glitch? Does that mean like it does the harm, but then it has a glitch? Is that what that is? How does that work? I've never used magic before in this game.
Yeah, no, you're good. So typically, yes, for 7 to 9, you would have a glitch. This is also functioning as like a kick some ass roll in a way, because you're attacking something with it.
Okay, let me
So,
roll back. Okay.
I'll give you a choice. You can either take a glitch, or we'll treat this as a kick some ass, and this thing will basically get a chance to return an attack on you if it has something that can work within that range.
Okay, but it doesn't give me a range of where I require. It would just be like a close,
Oh,
or
you're right. It's just 3 harm, ignore armor.
so the magic itself would be.
At the space you've been at, you're probably in like a close range.
Okay.
Because far as like, you need something meant
I-
to shoot long distances to cover, so you'd have to be pretty far away for it to be a far attack.
Okay. So go ahead and give me some of that harm. I'll treat it as a kick some ass, and I'll
Okay.
take. So, is this? Wait, no. Is this considered taking a? Would it activate? Is it considered? Sorry, words. Is it considered a harm move effect? Like
Yes, it will be a harm move effect.
Well,
But so last time
okay.
it was the bird flew out
yeah.
and kind of cut you. This time, as you hit it with this attack, and you're feeling pretty good, you're like, yeah, like I'm getting the hang of this, and you can't hear it, but you feel this like thud 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 on the boardwalk. And instead of a bird bursting out of your flames as they peter down, the whole centaur bursts out of the flames and just runs into you, kind of stampeding over the top
Oh,
of you, knocking you down. And that will be 2 harm.
Okay, I'll take it. I'll take it. That's
and
funny.
On would hear this. On would hear the clatter of hooves along the boardwalk since her earplugs are out.
Yeah, that's a thing. Oh,
Yep, she looks in the direction of the gallop of the clopping, and then is like, she sort of like frowns a bit behind her sunglasses, like, what is going on right now? Like, what?
Yeah, and as you look down that way, you would probably see the centaur thing come charging in just into your view before it like pivots and whips around, and you see this little metal-ish looking bird sitting on its rump.
And like Karma is currently dealing with both of them, right? Is it?
Yes, yeah.
At the same
Carmen is
time.
currently dealing with both.
did they
of
Voltron?
Baba.
Are they a unit?
You'll find out.
Yeah, An just looks at that and then sort of like turns away. An's got this. Like Karma's got this, and then she's gonna go back and deal with the mermaid, the sirens.
Wild.
Fantastic.
Just stampeded over. She got this.
Yep. An is in that.
Is the
Let's
puppet.
deal with one problem at a time. You know, she's very good at compartmentalizing. And now that she knows that, and also because Carmen's information is wrong, and now she's feeling a bit vindictive.
Not the pettiness.
And she chucks the other Molotov at the nearest siren. How many sirens are there again?
Just one.
It's just one, right?
Just the one. Yeah, just the one Magadara.
Wow.
Wait, is the Molotov doing anything at all? You know, we've burned it a couple of times. Does it look like it's taking?
Oh
Is it
no, yeah,
turning
no.
into
It looks fucked up. Like it's crispy. It's the fish part of it is like flaking a little bit. You know, like if you left a fish on the barbecue for too long and the skin is kind of like flaking off and burnt a little bit. It does not look great. It is not having a happy time.
All right. In that case, I shall chuck my other Molotov at it to hopefully finish it off.
Okay. So go ahead and roll plus tough for me.
All right. Oh, I rolled 12.
Ooh. Minus your 1 for an 11, but still good.
Yep.
So on, you look at this centaur, go, Carmen's got that, and light a Molotov and just kind of underhand toss it at this thing and hit it right in the face. And it's just bottle cracks and like fire burning down this thing's body, and you hear it just screaming. You hear it, everybody else probably feels it. Screaming and like thrashing and thumping on the dock before just kind of going still.
Anne smiles through it all. The fire reflects on her sunglasses.
We need to be concerned about Han.
Probably.
And then she finally turns and focuses on the 2 new problem.
Yeah. So yes, at this point, you're all pretty certain that this angry mermaid is very dead. It is dealt with. It is no longer moving, no longer thrashing, no longer making sounds. Like, you're good. So you all turn and see Carmen standing back up as this centaur, essentially. The Bawa wheels around and stares her down, and while this is staring her down, the bird sitting on its rump is kind of staring at all of you. You can't quite tell where because its eyes are this like mirrory reflective material, like they just shimmer, but there's no real pupil for you to like tell where it's looking.
How far are they from us?
Probably like 50 feet at this point.
Okay, so a good distance. I am tied to this dock. I quickly.
You do have a knife. You could.
Yeah, I think in this moment, I think in this moment, noticing that the Magandara is kind of like down, Morgan will take off the earplugs and just like listen for a second to make sure that it's actually dead.
Hmm.
And after confirming that, I think everything is moving so quickly. Maybe Morgan forgets that they're tied, and they start running with the rope behind them towards Carmen. Seeing Carmen, I feel like you took 2 harm. That's not great. I would like to.
It's fine. She got trampled by a horse, man. Like what it was there yeah, she's pretty
I
scratched up, right?
Yeah.
I have.
Or was it just okay. Okay. I was just wondering what it looked like.
Oh yeah, no, you're
She got
you're a bit.
pushed over, right?
Yeah, no, like this thing hit you full in the chest and then ran over the top of you. Like, managed to avoid all the like the squishier parts of you, but you're still like, having been around horses, you're not feeling awesome. Like, even if it didn't step on you, getting hit with a horse running is not fun.
I just
Nope.
have a above table question about
Yes.
harm and how it works. I'm
Yeah.
looking over here and it says okay to dying. And there
Yes.
are 3 boxes that are in the okay section and then 4 in the dying section.
Yes. So for harm, each of the hunters effectively has 7 harm before they die. The
And-
first 3 harm are like surface damage, quote unquote.
Oh,
It is.
yeah.
I mean, it's injuries, but they're injuries you'll heal from. Once you go past that, you go into being unstable, essentially, which means that you have to stop and stabilize the wound, or it will continue getting worse. And then
I
if
think
you
I
hit
still-
stable with medical attention, right? Like actual medical attention to like the ER or something
Or
like that.
first-
yes, unless somebody has a move that lets them stabilize, you would have to take them to like a medical professional to stabilize. You
Okay.
might be able to do some like first aid to stop it somewhat. But yeah, after those first 3, things get rougher.
Yeah. And I think it's like even if you heal all your harm, let's say you take 4 harm and you become unstable, you heal all those 4 harm, you are still unstable unless you like
Yes.
medical attention, right?
Yes, yeah, you can magically heal yourself up, but if you didn't stabilize, it will continue getting worse until you
Yeah,
actually
it
go
will.
stabilize it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I think in this moment, kind of powered up by like this, by literal magic from both the weird darkness of Trio and Threads and Akira. I think Morgan will just innately just run towards Carmen, seeing that she's been trampled, not knowing that how far the distance they can close.
Mhm.
They kind of just reach forward and go, Carmen. And I'm gonna jinx the Bawa.
creature?
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Absolutely.
and use that move. And I roll for weird.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, do I do it? I do it. Okay, cool. Luckily I got +2. That's a 7. So
Okay.
I do get to hold 1.
Yep.
And I can choose any of this. I'm going to wait to see what happens before I use that hold on any number of these things.
Okay.
So in this like weird like bullet time movement of combat, I think Morgan is literally on their way running, reaching out towards Carmen, and like with the intent of protecting her, and
Okay.
unconsciously just kind of like jinxing this Bawa. And when they throw their hand out, an invisible thread from them tethers to like this centaur horse bird thing.
Okay.
And it's just like it's like 5 little like little silk threads from their fingers, kind of
Okay.
like tied loosely around this creature now, waiting for a moment to see what happens as the rest of the time moves forward.
Okay. So yeah, Morgan, you cast your hand out, and these silvery threads sort of fly out and just drape over the Bawa and on. You can see this happen. You've never really noticed it before when Morgan's done magic, but you can see these sort of silvery threads come out of Morgan and sort of wrap around the Bawa. Sort of
Do I
loosely at the moment.
Do I see the shadows returning?
You roll plus weird for me.
Oh boy. Okay.
Plus weird or plus sharp. It'll be your choice.
I rolled double one.
No!
Okay.
No!
So
Okay.
5.
5. Fantastic. So you see this magic come out from Morgan and sort of drape over the Bawa, and you try to focus and look for those shadows. Unfortunately, your view is obscured by the shadows that start popping up around you. One of which looks in shape similar to that spider you saw earlier, very large, like dog-sized spider, sort of popping up next to you, and in front of you pops up vaguely what looks like the form of somebody weaving, like at a loom, and behind you, as you kind of are glancing around, you see what looks like someone playing a harp, like the shadowy impression of it pop up around you for a brief moment.
Ah. Well, that's not good. But Anne is more composed than that. She sees this, and she's like, "Ah, the people behind the curtains. Nice to meet you."
Don't look
And
at
you
the man
do,
behind the curtain.
in response, you just hear from the side where the spider is a very low hello. Carmen or Hector, what would either of you like to do?
So the
Uh,
bird is on the centaur, correct?
Yes, yeah, it's riding on its rear.
Cool. I'm gonna take a shot at it with a ball of force.
Ooh, okay.
So I wanna
That's weird.
ass over tea kettle this thing. I got 12.
Fantastic. So let's see, it is force and ball, so that's
So 2 harm.
2 harm.
Do I, because it's kick some ass, do I also get the advanced 12 plus?
Yes. Yeah. You won't get the 12 plus because that's one of those advanced moves where like you have to
Okay.
mark it as advanced, but you will get the 10 plus of being able to take an extra effect there. So you can either take or give +1 forward, inflict terrible harm, so basically up your harm, suffer less harm, or force them where you want them.
I'm gonna inflict terrible harm as I,
Fantastic.
again, and I wanted to like, my vision and goals is, while it's looking at me, it sees this,
Mm-hmm.
and then it just gets hit, like, on the side, and like, hopefully knocked off.
Okay.
3 harm as a force orb just rings its bell.
So you flick your hand and feel that ball of power, of force, sort of punch out at this thing. And you meant to, like you said, kind of knock it sideways to the ground. And it, again, you feel that scarf get kind of warm. And you feel your magic shift angle, and instead of slapping it sideways, this thing slams straight into the bird, pushing it directly back towards the centaur's like upper body. As your ball hits this thing, it just explodes, and you basically turn this metal bird into shrapnel that skewers the back of this centaur creature, this Bawa, and you see it like stagger for a minute there before collapsing.
That wasn't. I mean, I'm not gonna be mad about that. Oh, Hector will pull out the the earplugs I'll just be like, huh. Well, that was a thing.
Yeah, I think Morgan just runs short immediately to see this metal bird explode and just kind of stop before any shrapnel gets in the way. Looks back to see the other two. They seem okay, but is more concerned for Carmen because Carmen was trampled by a horse.
Trampled.
And runs towards Carmen and goes, Carmen, are you okay? Are you cast?
Ask me later. Ask me later. Kind of busy right now. There's still a horse. There's still a horseman. There is still a horseman, right? Is it wrong?
No, that shrapnel like skewered it and the whole thing collapsed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's over. I think she's just kind of like frozen and like a little bit in shock. Just says, yeah, I think I'm gonna need to get something looked at. Oh, that. Yeah.
Looks at your hands like.
Okay, like after I fluff the earplugs, of course, because we're having a conversation. Yeah.
Looks at your hands, looks at you, and looks at is just checking you with like your consent essentially to make sure that you're okay, and kind of fussing over you a little bit for the first
The
time.
hands look normal, right? Like after the magic goes away, the hands look normal, right? When,
yes.
Yeah.
Can I do a magic?
To try to heal.
Oh no.
Yeah, to try, because when it says use magic, I can heal one harm from an injury, and I kind of want to use whatever kind of tether that I had that was jinxing the Bawa. I kind of like cut that thread off and just like use the rest of it, just unconsciously to just like, as I am like, checking Carmen. I think if you see the magic itself, it's like kind of like binding a wound, like when you have like a bandage and you kind of like rope it around whatever wound it is. I think you see unconsciously Morgan just kind of just like wrapping these threads around whatever wounds that were on Carmen, and I'm gonna roll for the magic.
Roll forward the magic.
Also,
I think.
I haven't been keeping track of it, but I just remembered. Anytime I use magic, because it's a new move I got when we leveled up, Luck of the Dam, I get a +1 forward on the next roll.
Yes.
So for this, my magic, I got it's 8 + 2 with the +1, so it's 11.
Fantastic. So yes,
Yeah.
you are sort of
There's
wrapping these threads around On's arm, and as
Hold
they
on.
sort of,
Hold on. I forgot the first part of Asphalt Jungle. You heal faster than normal people. Anytime your harm gets healed, heal an extra point.
Yep, that's
Good job, Morgan.
Hey.
So as you wrap this rope, this twine, this thread around Carmen's arm, and pull it tight, you see that palish purpley blue sort of like flame pops up around it, like it's engulfing whatever backlash or like whatever power seeps into you from using this. And you see as that flame pops up to your eyes and also to On's eyes, since you both have the sight, you see Carmen like start to glow almost. That same sort of white fire that was thrown out sort of seems to burn up Carmen's arms and like along sort of like the pathways through the body. And Carmen, you feel fantastic. heal both your harm.
Yep.
You feel like you just had the best night of rest.
Yep.
Um, it's an immediate hug right after that. After I
Yeah.
realize what happened.
Okay. Yeah. There's
so
an
glad you-
explanation.
It's okay.
There's an
It's
explanation, I think.
No, you're fine.
No,
I'm just glad
I'm-
you're okay.
Yep. I'm okay. I'm okay. Listen, because you asked, I will explain.
It's okay. Yeah,
The-
you don't have to. I just.
No, I'm as confused as you are, actually. Morgan sees Carmen pull out her phone as they're talking. So they're having this conversation, and Carmen is texting James, just says, the favor is done. You owe me dinner. Send.
You get a very rapid response back. Just like it is a gif of like the Be Our Guest scene from Beauty and the Beast, like Lumiere and Cogsworth, just with the table and everything. Like,
And Carmen just gathers the group as she's explains this to the entire group, and she says, come from a family of hunters. The Rivera family for generations have been investigating supernatural entities and creatures and events. And, you know, I grew up, my immediate family, my parents, my older siblings, we've all kind of hunted together. Every kind of immediate family is like a hunter group, and we do our thing. In bigger families like mine, sometimes magic skips a generation. You know, the fifth child of the fifth child just happened to be me. So everybody just assumed I wasn't able to do this. And then it kind of just happened. So I guess I'm kind of weird.
That's so
It's a
beautiful.
thing.
No, it's
So
wonderful.
I grew up believing I was the weird one because I couldn't do all the weird things that my family was doing. If that makes any sense at all. I was weird for being normal. But yeah, I did not expect that. But yeah, it's actually something a lot of my family can do, if not all of them, you know, magic things.
Well, you do have something above them now, your entire family. You now know.
Yeah, I just killed several supernatural creatures.
I was more talking about the fact that purity doesn't affect the sirens. You can add that to your notes about sirens or whatever. I tested it for you. You're welcome.
Listen, the information my family knows, we literally investigate fictional stories and myths, okay? Like,
Wait, how did you figure that out so quickly, On?
Oh, I took my earplugs out.
You're pure?
There's a lot of us. Like, just staring, like, are you seriously asking me this question right now? That kind of look.
I assumed that you, a lady such as yourself, has had a lot of experiences in life.
Yeah, continue digging, my friend.
Carmen just says, it's okay, Morgan. Just please stop before you dig
I'm
yourself
sorry.
in further. It's okay.
It wasn't
Look.
meant to be an insult.
It's okay. Some stories say that so purity. There's a lot of connotations to purity. A lot of the stories say, you know, childlike purity, But, interpretations of purity are different from person to person, and I just thought, you know, has anyone ever tried virgins?
Well, now we know. And then she sort of looks at the show. She has not bandaged up herself yet. She's like, I need to send this to the laundromat. Do they wash off blood?
Honestly, I thought you would have tested Eugene, not yourself.
No, there's only. No,
Eugene's pure
I need-
too?
She looks
No, but
back
I
at
just-
Morgan.
No, I just look at On like I just assumed you would have used him as a guinea pig.
No, I need him to carry my bags for me, so I have to take the hit, sadly.
Oh, that's too bad. So let's get back to the office, maybe. I could shovel in a whole pizza just by myself, honestly.
Yes, food. I love
Before-
food.
Before we go, I should probably fix that. All the ice. So I'll
Oh,
let the ice remelt.
I was
Do
gonna
we-
say
That's
leave
weird.
it there because it's good for global warming, but I guess you can melt it.
what do we do with the bodies? Like motions to the crushed mermaid
That-
and also exploded centaur.
And the bird.
Yeah.
Oh, the
yeah,
bird's
so
gone.
And the
bird's
bird.
just
the bird became shrapnel. The bird is now inside the centaur. Yeah, so the
Nice.
Magadara is like happily burning away from that last Molotov. Like, you're pretty sure if you just leave that alone, it's just gonna be like
Oh,
before long.
always double tap. Always
Um,
double tap.
Yeah.
Carmen's just like,
Anne is gonna go to the centaur because in her culture, horse blood is good for, warding off and
Mhm.
burning people. So she's like, centaur. She's gonna drain the thing into a bottle.
hey,
She has
On,
the tools.
I have a question. Would Carmen know that On uses blood and stuff for rituals, or is that like low
Oh.
key?
I mean,
like it's
she's
come up.
she does. Yeah, she doesn't like advertise it, but I mean, I don't think she has ever done like a full ritual in front of you. But you would know that it involves ritualistic animal sacrifices and
Yeah.
blood.
I think she just says, "Hey, because it's only half horse. Do you think it's diluted blood?"
And I mean, what's the other half? Is it Is it a person or is it like some entity?
Well, I mean, I don't know, actually. I'm not 100% sure. It might mess up your whatever it is you do with that blood.
But let's also not shame mixed race things. I mean, it is a whole
No,
ass centaur.
no, I'm not. It is a whole ass centaur, but it is a
One
whole
way
ass centaur, not like a horse. So it's not technically an animal, which means you don't know what if you start doing weird rituals with its blood, you don't know what's gonna happen.
Well, most rituals relies on intent. If I believe that this is a pure-blooded horse with some extra on the side, maybe I can get it to work extra stuff. You do not know if she's being serious or if she's just pulling it out of her ass. But she is draining the thing into
Yeah, no, Carmen's just like taking it in stride because On is in fact an expert at what On does, so Carmen doesn't question it.
So Hector with a 7, you're able to melt it without any major issues. Let's see here. I forget if you have something for. No, that's just that. So with the 7, it works imperfectly. So you do get a glitch. So either the effect is weakened. I'm gonna say short duration doesn't count here because the ice isn't gonna come back without help. You can take 1 harm. It draws immediate unwelcome attention, or it has a problematic side effect.
It can be weakened, and so like all the ice doesn't fully melt, but it's just not. Full
You basically get it to
pillars.
break apart. Like, yeah, it kind of breaks apart, and now the waterfront just looks like the biggest punch bowl. Like it's chunks of ice floating everywhere. Um,
Hector is still very tired, so I'm just like, that's enough.
Are you
Um,
all right?
I haven't done magic like that
It was
ever, I think.
impressive. I was
Y-
amazed and
you-
scared.
Welcome to being a practitioner.
Thank
Ugh.
you.
But other than being tired, I'm fine. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Did you want me to look at that shoulder for you?
No, it's fine. The blood will eventually coagulate. It's basically natural plaster and bandage.
Okay. Leaves onto their devices.
so as you're all kind of
Yeah.
wrapping up, Carmen, you get a phone call from Dirk.
Hey,
Hey.
hello.
Hello. Great, you're there.
Hello. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Sorry.
Hey, I need you guys to come back to the shop. I think I figured out what's causing all this stuff.
Did you figure out how they were bringing all these mythological creatures to life? And she's got like her like earpiece or whatever, and she's driving. Right, we're heading back. We're on our way back. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
that works. I there was someone from 8th generation stopped in with a bunch of old people. Said he had tried to call, but it sounded like you guys might have been busy. Hector, you do have a couple of missed phone calls.
I was
Yeah.
busy.
Yeah.
They're delightful. I hope you didn't scare them.
No.
yeah,
Give him
Carmen's
some of the
put it on
leftover tea.
speakerphone.
Yeah,
the car.
It's broadcasting the whole car. Dirk is really annoyed that he can hear himself talking, but doesn't say anything about it. But yeah, I gave him some of the leftover tea from that tea lady. It was great. But they told me about this Spirit of Seattle thing, and I checked some of the older records I've gotten. I think I know where it is, and I think I know how we can stop it before things get worse.
They are worse than a flying bird creature on a centaur. We have to stop it before it gets worse than a flying bird creature on a centaur. We're on our way. How long does it take to get to Pike Place? From Pike Place to the...
Like 5 minutes, especially later at night, like as traffic's dying down.
Yeah.
Like 5 minutes. It's mostly just annoying
Yeah.
to like work around the one-way streets.
Yeah. See you in 5.
Yes, so you are all able to get there.
How many people showed up to the office, by the way? Are they still there?
No. When you get there, it is Dirk is there, along with Kira, Susan, and Jimmy Sparks.
Oh.
Of course.
Hey, glad you could make it.
Yeah.
I was just gonna let you know and like maybe have you guys deal with this next time, but these two seem to think that things are getting worse, and well, Jimmy here is pretty sure he found where we need you to go.
This moment, like when Carmen walks in and sees Jimmy Sparks, there's a running Rolodex of all the Jimmy Sparks conspiracies in her mind.
Morgan
What?
salutes Jimmy in the way Jimmy was saluting.
Or like
ev-
weird.
Yeah, everyone in the square.
Jimmy
because they-
immediately like strikes the pose and does it back to you. Like
It's
The
good to
moment
see you.
I'm-
I have a question, Devin, just because
Mhm.
it's funny. Which one of the conspiracies does Carmen think is the most legit right now, based on him having investigated and like is somehow helpful to their paranormal investigations? Like,
yeah.
which theory do you think that would be the theory that pops up in Carmen's mind that's just like, oh damn? Jimmy Sparks.
Ooh, Carbon, the theory that immediately pops to your mind is an older one of Rocky's that he's kind of moved away from, but it's always stuck with you that Jimmy is from a different plane of existence. He is an extraplanar warrior that travels between like existences fighting evil, which Rocky definitely put that in quotation marks with a question mark, and seems to think Jimmy may have ulterior motives, but just like extra dimensional warrior is the one that jumps to your mind because Carbon, you're like, okay, but that'd be pretty cool. Like,
Carmen files that in her mental Rolodex. It's just like, hey, glad to see you're here, Jimmy. Weren't sure if you were gonna be checking in. I know Morgan suggested working with us.
Yeah, he was patrolling the plaza, and he was, making sure things are safe, and I just thought we could potentially work together.
yes, and I am always happy to make connections here in the city with anyone who wants to make this city a better place to live and these neighborhoods a better place. And well, you guys did a great job with the International District, so I figured I'd pay a visit and see what I could do to help. And good man Dirk here has been sending me on a couple of scouting missions for you, and I think we've got what you need.
I would just like to point out that on the moment she saw Jimmy Sparks and then saw this magician guy, her brain just half checks out. Just
Clarification: magician guy is not there. James is not there.
Oh.
It's Jimmy,
okay.
Kira, Susan, and Dirk.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
you could probably kind of call Dirk a magician guy. Like, he's got a lot of weird skills, so it wouldn't surprise you if he suddenly was like, look at what I can do. But
Literally only a quarter checks out, not exactly.
I have
And the quarter is
so
Jimmy.
Yes.
the quarter is Jimmy, yeah.
In her vision, he's just a pixelated, redacted.
so then I assume you know about the or I hope that you've had the opportunity to learn what's bringing these supernatural creatures to life from stories, because at least the creatures that we've encountered this evening were creatures that I'd only heard in stories and not experienced in person.
Dirk kind of gives a nod and he's like, yeah, it's sounds like it all comes back to this, well, we've been calling it the spirit of Seattle, but sort of a native spirit of the land, of the people that live here, of, just the cultures being represented here. There's not much written down about it, but there's some oral histories that have been, passed down, parent to child, grandparent to grandchild, that sort of thing. That
Yeah.
it was pretty active back in the day, back before the city, back when it was just the tribes here. But there's some stories about it, them displeasing it, and they had sort of ritual that they had to go through to appease it, to put it back to sleep. I was able to work with the elders that were here and also cross-reference some real old documents that I had laying around, and I think we've been able to reconstruct it. So one of you is gonna need to perform this ritual, but I don't know how peaceful it's gonna be about it. Which I know you all just finished a hunt, and I was gonna give you a week, but these two came in and apparently think that things might need to happen faster. Susan kind of gives you a small wave.
So I have a couple of concerns.
Mm-hmm.
none of us are, well, concern number one, none of us are from any native tribes that would be able to replicate this ritual. Should we enlist the help of experts, people who would know how to do this ritual?
Dirk kind of shrugs and is like, I mean, honestly, no one knows how to do this ritual. It's been so long. It's, like I said, we kind of pulled it together, but from
Are
the
there
stories...
any books about it?
Not books as such, but bits of writing, bits of records, recorded
it with you now?
conversations, interviews that were written down. I've been able to piece it together pretty well. And from what the elders were saying that were here and from what we were gathering, it's not so much a single culture that needs to be represented. It's the people of this city. It's those living here, and it's more about intent than it is about any particular specifics, if that makes sense.
Carmen has a flashback to something On said, and just her head turns to On.
I can try to do the ritual, but I am not from this country, so does that mean that I have to use them? I point at the other three as materials for the ritual. Not ritual sacrifice, I just mean your presence there as a representation of this country. That's all I meant. I'm not killing any of you.
I assume, Dirk, that if the elders helped you do this, we have that support already, so we should be fine whoever does the ritual.
Pretty much, yeah. It's on. You
Okay.
could complete this ritual, and it's so one person has to perform the ritual, but it's powered by everyone, by the people of the city. In the old days it was people of the tribes, but whether they're there or not, anyone in the area of this thing is sort of able to power this ritual.
It's a spirit bomb.
Kinda.
What does it entail? You said you had to put the spirit back to sleep, or they had to...
Yeah, it's I mean, best approximation is it's like a lullaby or a bedtime story almost that you chant and tell to this thing, and you have to stay seated in front of it and complete this story, complete this lullaby to put it back to rest.
This spirit of the place, Seattle, is what's been causing all of these incidents we've been recently seeing.
Susan pipes up and is like, yeah. When Dirk explained it, Kira and I both sort of remembered appearing in this city and remember being brought here, being channeled here by something greater that was living under the city.
Oh.
So it brought you?
Yeah.
That means if we do this, what happens to you?
Susan starts to speak, and Kira kind of steps forward and just goes, well, that depends on how events play out. It might banish everything, but... And they kind of give Morgan a bit of a wink and say, that might be... The fates might be able to change just a little. If the intent is there.
At Kira's kind of wink comment, Morgan takes a step back away from Kira uncomfortably and goes, I see. I understand. So does it matter which one of us does it?
Not really. No. Any of you could do it. I know you're pretty comfortable with rituals, but if one of you other ones wanted to be the person chanting or channeling this,
Fine
that'd be
either
fine.
way.
I've never really studied magic like Hector or On in my time here. It's mostly just based off a feeling. So I don't know if I'm the best to do a ritual if it's very complicated or you know. But if you need someone to support or channel or to feel,
I mean, will this thing be hostile during the ritual?
Most likely.
Then it's best I do the ritual and the rest of you cover me.
And Kira does pipe up that anyone present will be involved in the ritual in some way or another. As Dirk and Susan both sort of explained, it's the intent that matters, and not just the intent of the caster, but of everyone throughout the city. So, whatever the strongest hearts and minds are thinking will impact how this all plays out.
Hector will look at Kira. Will you be there?
Kira kind of gestures at these very nice white slacks they're wearing and goes, "Get this all dirty." Susan rolls her eyes and says, "We're worried that things might be coming to a head. So we're gonna stay up here and try to keep the lid on things." And at that, as Susan says, "Keep the lid on things," we cut away to that waterfront that you were just at. But not up by the docks, deeper out. Pretty far out there where things start to bubble and waves start crashing in. And from the Puget Sound bursts a dragon.
Oh.
Massive dragon. With one horn
Oh,
erupting up. Almost looks a little bit like a sea serpent. Erupting from the water. Rocketing into the sky. And all of you, in your minds, and almost just feeling it inside your body, hear this deep rumble. "I want the moon." And that is where we'll end for tonight.
How's that?
the moon
I'm
again.
crying. It's always the moon.
You all have to come back next week for our season finale to see how this all plays out. But until then,
Right.
I have
I'm
been Devin.
crying.
Pronouns are he, him. If you want to follow me at all, I am Gray_Wolf_Moon on Twitter. But really, I'm just a fan account. I repost things by 5% chance, and all of these lovely people here. So why don't I let them reintroduce themselves, going in reverse order, starting with, I think we finished on DJ?
Yeah. Hey y'all, my name is DJ. You can find me on Twitter at DJ_KQ. Mostly sarcastic, gay, and DEI based things on it. I'm also part of the leadership team for the Queer XP, which is a all queer podcast where we do tabletop games. Season 3 will include shorter sessions like this, so for about 4 to 5 episode arcs, some one shots and panel chats. So please come follow us at the Queer XP.
And that'll kick it over to Nikki, I believe.
Yes, I have been Nick. You can find me on basically every social media platform as NickSnat1. That is with the number 1. And you can find me playing in a campaign over at D8 Dungeon at 3 p.m. EST Thursday, where we're going through a playthrough of the Dragon of Icespire Peak, where at the end of every session, someone else becomes the DM. I just literally 8 hours ago finished a session where the player decided to run the entire session like a stage play. So our characters are in present day watching a staged play being put on of our characters in our younger days doing Dragon of Icespire Peak, and it is just caricatured and dramatized to all hell, and it was hilarious. So we'll see what the
Amazing.
next session entails. And so we pass it out. And I think
To Ian,
next one
I
is
believe
Ian,
it
right?
was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have been Ian DePriest. You can find me anywhere, everywhere. If you just search Ian DePriest, it sounds like it spells like it sounds, DE and then the word priest. I'm on Twitter as Ian LDP. I have music because I am a songwriter. I also do voiceover, and I do many other things in my life. Just search me and I'll be there. And that's me. Moving on.
Fantastic.
Moving on
We
to
will finish
Anne.
off, yes, with our newest magical girl, Anne.
Like I finally earned my place with the
Yeah.
spooky girlies. I had to do it. There was no other time to do it. Wow, that blew up literally. Hi, I'm Anne. My pronouns are she, her. I was playing Carmen Rivera, who just all of the lore about her family and everything just kind of happened all at once. And also, I'm Filipino, and apparently there's lots of Filipino creatures that really want the moon. I'm sorry, but I'm also not sorry. Uh, you can find me on Twitter at exo_girlwonder. I have something really exciting that is going to be announced real soon. So if you're not completely sick of me by the end of this series, there's something else that's dropping soon. So yeah, if you like Carmen, you'll like my girl Lucy too. I'm sure you will. Yeah, that's it for me.
Fantastic. So, until next week, everybody have a wonderful time. Stay safe out there. Enjoy yourselves. And we will see you right back here next week for the season finale. Bye.